And clearly, I mean, we are seeing, we had hoped that perhaps the aircraft had come down in a part of this residential area that wasn't that built up, but we have seen other images that show buildings, not high-rise buildings, but apartments of 3 or 4 stories in height that are burnt out, that clearly were impacted, if not by the aircraft, certainly by the many thousands of tons or hundreds of tons of aviation fuel that spilled from this aircraft and enveloped everything around it. I mean, I think what's most incredible about the survival of this young 40-year-old man, Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, is that when you saw the images there of the aircraft descending, it was literally at the point that the aircraft impacted the ground that it exploded. So there were, just milliseconds really to be thrown free of that wreckage. Somehow he managed it, spoke of walking through an area surrounded by bodies, eyewitnesses. And as I say, in that video that we hope to bring you shortly, you will see a man who NDTV in India say is Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, staggering from that fireball to passers-by and eventually rescuers.
Just such an incredible story, touched by the hand of God, perhaps. Vishwash Kumar Ramesh simply walked away. I think we have that footage now, do we? We're trying to get that footage uploaded.
Yes, Martin, we can now take you to... this is a clip off air from NDTV. So you're just seeing, so that's him walking away there, according to NDTV, just limping away there. But, I mean, there's a trace of some blood on that white T-shirt, soot marks. Just incredible that he is able not only to survive this, but the fact that he's on his feet, Martin, and walking out there, I think clearly, by the looks of it, just not wanting to speak to people as he moves towards an ambulance there. But just incredible and amazing, that NDTV in India have managed to obtain these images, and our thanks to them for that.
It's just almost impossible to compute that man there walking away, Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, it's just impossible to believe he's been in a plane crash. He looks like no more injured than if he'd fallen off a push bike. It's simply miraculous, that footage just coming out. Let's join now the aviation journalist Josh Cahill. Josh, simply mind-blowing imagery of that British national there just walking away. How can we try and make sense of what some people might think is a miracle? Let's start with where he was sitting on that flight. So seat 11A, an emergency exit seat. How could it possibly have worked? We can see pictures on our screen there now. A lot of people are familiar with themselves sitting on flights. That, as I understand it, having sat on lots of flights like this, would be the front row of economy, right? And that's near the exit to his immediate left. How could a flight go down, as we saw, plummeting from the sky, that ginormous fireball? How could a passenger in that seat possibly have survived?
It is an absolute miracle. And generally, people say the back of the aircraft is the safer part. In a case of a crash like this, it's an absolute miracle. It is 11A. This is the seat right at the door, so everybody will enter the airplane right there. It's the section between business class and economy, and as many said, it is just an absolute miracle that he was able to survive. The rotating speed of a 787 Dreamliner is 240 kilometers per hour, and the impact must have been probably around the same. If you sit in a car that crashes against a wall with 200 plus kilometer per hour, you'd be certainly dead. I have no explanation how he was able to survive such an impact.
Is there any notion of the doors being automatically? I'm just trying to make sense of this from the knowledge I have of, say, being a car passenger. Is there a deployment of those doors upon impact, just blasting open and flinging people out, or is this likely just to be some, I don't know, fantastical combination of physics and luck? And try and help me make sense of this, because I can't.
I think it must have been just pure luck, because an impact like this, there's no safety measures in plane. If you have a ditching on water or you have a controlled emergency landing, given that he was sitting on 11A, he would be the first to evacuate the plane, slides, deploy, and that would have been an indicator if there was an emergency landing. But giving the impact and that the plane was like suddenly like plummeting into that residential area, I think it is just like a chain of miracles that happened there that he survived this crash. I don't know how else to explain, because there is nothing, there's no ejecting seats, there is nothing that could have helped him in this situation given the impact.
And Josh, in terms of, I mean, this flight of 60 seconds into a 10-hour flight, maximum payload of aviation fuel, which of course made it that highly explosive fireball. In terms of the physical aspects of one of these aircraft, a 787, where are the fuel tanks in relation to where he's sitting? Mark White said upon impact they're designed almost to fragment into different sections. Could part of the miracle of Ahmedabad here be that the fuel tanks were behind him, the nose broke away, he was flung out? I mean, is that possible?
It could have been. So the fuel tanks are located usually inside the wings and under the wings, so in the central section of the airplane. But once again, I don't think that he might have been thrown out of the airplane and landed somewhere safely. But as said before, there's no reason to believe that his seat or the position where he was, because everybody else, including the person sitting next to him, must have not been able to survive the crash. And that is still, there's a lot of questions that need to be asked. And as you can see, the plane literally 10 seconds after rotating off the runway seemed to lose all power and was just going down. I don't even think anyone was really aware in that moment that the plane is not climbing anymore, because from the second it lost all the power to impact, it was another 10, 15 seconds. So this plane wasn't longer airborne than 30, 40 seconds. And I don't even think the crew was preparing the passengers for the impact, because everything was happening so fast. And yeah, as you said, it is a miracle.
Josh Cahill, thank you for trying to help us make sense. Perhaps we can't. Perhaps we will never be able to make sense of what is a simply miraculous escape. We must, however, repeat the latest information we have from police. 290 now feared dead. 242 passengers were on board. The miracle in Ahmedabad. Vishwash Kumar Ramesh, a British national, survived. 290 feared dead in total, including those on the ground. Thank you, Josh Cahill, for joining us.